Let's press the record button. So, welcome to the second session of Storied Horizons, but the first session for you, Kieran, with your new character, Minerva. Before we start, it's been a while, do you have any questions about this new campaign, the world, or anything like that before we get sort of stuck in?
I think I remember most things, and then other things will be explained as we go into her actual story.
100%.
Let me think. When will all the characters meet? Will that be in the first session?
Well, I'm actually sort of considering all these backstory sessions as part of the main campaign. But I reckon maybe around session 8 will be the one where everyone comes together, and then you could say that would be sort of the official sort of start, I guess. But in terms of numbers and the story, overall story, all these sessions matter towards the overall story.
Okay. Will there be any people who meet before others, or we're going to meet concurrently?
So Tom and Anya have obviously met, as you saw in the first one. I would like for you and George to be able to meet, because I think George might struggle in a one-to-one session.
Okay.
So I think I like the idea of maybe us doing this. I don't know how long this session will take. It will either take two short sessions or one slightly average session. But then I like the idea of doing maybe like one more session with you and George before the main group meet.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Stefan, based on the character he sent me, I don't think will take more than one session with him. And I think it will be on his own. Hannah's, I think, will probably take maybe 2 sessions and be on her own. And then I think that's everyone, right? Georgie can't play till later on, so eventually I'll do a separate session with her. But we'll see how that goes in terms of when she wants to start.
Oh, what? Oh, no, wait. Yeah, that is everyone. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's everyone, right?
Yeah, that's everyone.
Okay. Cool. So, are we ready to begin properly?
I am indeed.
Right, let me take you over to a different map then. Let me also adjust my music volume. Hold on. My volume's all fucked up on my computer. Why is that not playing anything? Did I not put a thing on this thing? Probably didn't, did I? I meant to put this one on there. No, I didn't. I meant to put this one on there. There's no music playing.
No. Oh, wait. It is playing, but I just can't hear it. Beneath the ice.
Oh, I'm gonna reload my webpage because again, it's got the
Oh, wait,
thing
maybe
where I need to relog in. For fuck's sake, Roll20, what have you done?
You sure it's not like Cookie's thing?
I don't know, but it's done it every single time today that I've used Roll20. Every time it might be something to do with my connection, maybe. Let's try again. I press the button and it's not playing any audio. For fuck's sake.
Oh, I can hear music.
See, I can't. Let me try reload. See, every time I reload the page, I have to relog in. Don't know what's going on.
It says here that Roll20 is being laggy at the moment.
It might be something to do with that then.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of on the Reddit. There's a lot of people saying.
Oh shit, it was working then. Dodgy. And then I fucking stopped it. Let's try. Okay, music's working for me now. Is it working for you?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Right, so in the depths of the earth of Taldore lies long and winding tunnels, said to have been dug out by Torog, the crawling king himself. Dark catacombs too fine to be natural cave systems, but too flawed to be made by man. They truly have a touch of divinity about them. Ironic then, isn't it, that these halls are called home by those who worship the divine. A betrayer, in some people's eyes, locked away in the depths of Avernus, the scaled tyrant herself, the mother of all dragons, Tiamat. Her followers have plotted and weaved their machinations since the goddess was sealed long ago at the climax of the calamity. They called themselves the Caustic Heart. Yet how have they kept themselves hidden for so long from the eyes of monarchs and rulers across Exandria, you ask? Well, some say that only those with chromatic vision can enter the lair of the mother of all dragons. Others claim that you must slay a member of each of her children to prove you are worthy to walk the passages of those great enough to have power to awaken a betrayer. The truth is far more simple. An inky black pool lies somewhere within the earth. Only a spare few are certain of its location. Swim to the very bottom, and you shall emerge from the water. As above, so below. And we begin our session below. Minerva, as you find yourself submerged and facing down into a pool of inky black water. You are sweating, panicked, terrified. You look around you and your sister treads water carefully next to you. She looks at you with comforting eyes and places a hand upon your shoulder before giving you a knowing smile, followed by an apprehensive yet determined nod. She takes your hand and dives into the deep black waters beneath. And as your body is submerged fully within the cold and icy waters, you awake from a dream. Or was it a nightmare? Minerva, you find yourself in a dimly lit room. Stone surrounds you, stone pillars, a small crackling fireplace in the corner of the room. Cobblestone floors that are draped with the rugs of dead animals, pelts such as bears. Please, can you, as you sit within this room, you look up, and in the centre you see there's a small stone basin standing in the centre of the room that's half filled with murky looking water. Your room otherwise quite bare along the length of the looming grey walls. There is a dim darkness about this place. Can you please describe Minerva's morning routine, bearing in mind, in fact, that this is a very important day for Minerva? This is the day where she will ascend from Scion to Invoker within the Caustic Heart.
She would at first go over to that basin and splash herself with cold water, seeing as she had a very bad dream.
Yeah, and the water splashes off your face. It's cold and it's not the cleanest, but it is refreshing regardless.
And I imagine the burnt side of her face would burn a little bit more, like you'd see the water vapor coming off it, as it isn't hot, but it's just, something there. I don't know. She'd probably, after that, brush her hair, try and look as good, tie it up so it's practical. I assume she knows she has some sort of test to pass or something like that.
Certainly. You know that there is some sort of trial before you. You haven't been, by design, not been allowed to know the specific details of it. Details you do know, though, that the person leading the trial will be the herald, the highest member within the Caustic Heart, an older tiefling woman named Sable Della Rosa.
So I guess she would. She has armor and weapons, and if she doesn't know what entails, she will definitely
yeah.
put that on as a precaution. She'd also wear one of her, I guess, Tiamat amulets. Probably sit for a while, burning a block of incense and have a few candles around, praying at the bottom of her. Was it a stone bed?
I imagine it would be a stone bed that's built into the wall, almost like a coffin, almost like how they lay the dead of in certain cultures.
So she'd try and center herself for about 10 minutes before she finishes off each little bit of her preparation, and then she'd probably try and go and find her sister.
Well, with good timing of such a thing, Leona, your sister, promptly pops her head round the corner. You hear the door of your large wooden door creaking along the floor. It's had an issue for quite a long time where whenever someone would push open the door, it would drag slightly across the stone floor and make a large noise, preventing anyone from really sneaking into your room undetected. And your eyes are very much instantly drawn to your sister, your twin sister, looking very similar to you, but with the burn upon one side of your face symmetrically on the other side of hers. Another thing that would come to Minerva's mind is that now Leona is in sight, that Leona passed her trial only a short while ago, maybe 2 weeks.
She'd be like, Leona, don't try and sneak up on me.
I wouldn't.
You know how squeaky the door is.
I wouldn't dare, sister, but I could not sit idly by and wait while my little sister, she sort of looks down at you, being, I imagine, slightly shorter, and I imagine maybe born maybe a minute apart, as my little sister's big day is ahead of her.
Well, you don't have to rub it in. We know that you passed because you're better, but I can catch up with you, don't you worry.
Do a quick insight check for me. It's quite a high DC, but we'll see what you get. 13. Leona, as usual, is quite hard to read. She's good at keeping a more stony-faced expression when she's needed to, and it's certainly seen her allowed herself to elevate herself amongst the cultists for quite some time. She's that stony-faced expression you have sometimes, I imagine, Minerva has maybe been somewhat envious of. I imagine fellow cult members maybe have looked down on Minerva next to Leona for keeping her emotions so swiftly locked behind this impenetrable wall of sort of stability. Correct me if I'm wrong, though.
That'd be accurate. She'd look at her and be like, "Oh, come on, Leona, please tell me how your trial went and what you did. You can just whisper it to me to help your little sister out."
To a persuasion check, very high DC again.
Oh, wow.
6. She sort of tuts somewhat sillily. I think with the tone of your persuasion check, she can tell that it's almost not as serious as it might be. She sort of tuts and says, Now, sister, You have spent your life preparing for this moment. You do not need my advice at the last moment.
Oh, I just wanted a little hint, sister. Just a little one. We all need it sometimes.
She smiles and says, I suppose. Remember, sister, that the trial is like a play. Like the ones I read to you about in the books. Those around you will all play their part on the day, and you must play yours in turn. And she sort of has quite a eagle-eyed expression as she sort of bows her head very slightly at you.
But Minerva would smile and be like, "Oh, Leona, you make it sound so ominous."
Again, she her stony face expression hard to read, but whilst Minerva herself cannot see this, perhaps more eagle-eyed people may spot a slight apprehension, maybe is not the right word, but apprehension in Leona's expression, but it's almost immediately undone, and Minerva is not insightful enough with her previous check to spot such a weakness, perhaps, in Leona.
She would cheekily ask, "So how do you rate my chances, Leona?"
Well, young sister. What would she say to this? I think your chances are as good as any of us can expect.
But not as good as you.
You shouldn't idolize me so much, sister. Sometimes it's foolhardy to go in too confident to something.
Well, I've relied on you for so long. Maybe it is the time for me to come out my shell with everyone else a bit more.
She smiles and says, well, regardless, I do like you to rely on me a little bit, sister.
Minerva just holds out her 2 fingers and does like the tiniest little space between them.
She sort of approaches closer and reaches out her hand and sort of ready to pull you to your feet.
Yep, she'd let her.
And says, well then, sister, or Scion, are you ready to become Invoker?
I am ready. I've been ready for a long time.
She nods and says, well then, let us head to the inner sanctum.
I guess you go along then.
And so the two sisters begin to descend the winding corridors towards the inner sanctum. You're led by Leona through a long, narrow corridor made of dark, smooth, carved obsidian. At the end, eventually lies a spiral staircase that heads down into the blackness of the earth below. Leona smiles and gestures for you to head first.
Well, this is it.
It is. Would you consider yourself ready, dear sister?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be. I don't feel like I could do much more. I did have quite an ominous dream last night, though. I don't know if it's foreboding at all.
Oh, do share.
We were swimming in the inky blackness, and you helped calm me down. That's all I can really remember at the moment.
Do another insight check for me. Slightly lower DC this time. Same. Still Still hard to read, Leona. Still forever that stony expression. She looks down and looks back up and just says, "Just remember, sister, when you're most scared and most alone, that I will always be at your back.
If anything goes wrong, I will think of your face. You are my other half after all."
And two halves make a whole." She smiles and giggles a little bit.
"And if you did it without me, I'm sure I can do it without you." And she gives her a wink.
Precisely. As you
Well,
also
wish me luck.
She nods, and as each step feels smooth beneath your feet, down this spiral staircase below, much smoother than the previous sort of cobblestone sort of flooring that you made your journey here. You almost feel like you could slip at any moment down the staircase, and then suddenly you're at the bottom. Torches of many magical colours lie on each side of the wide hallway ahead. It's made of obsidian. There is red, blue, green, black and white flames. At the very end of this long corridor, a set of doors lies open, and you see the inner sanctum. A circular platform that is surrounded by invokers. In the centre, the herald stands, beckoning you forward.
Yes, you meekly approach him.
Well, in fact, the herald is a her, and much older woman, a very old tiefling with sort of longish white hair that goes in between her horns and down her back. Her face is wrinkled and old, and she stands in these sort of purple and white robes that come down either side of her. And she looks to you, and she, as you begin to come closer, she says, "Come on, child. Come closer."
Yes. Yes. And she'll sort of shuffle forward.
"I must commend you, child, for making it so far and following in the footsteps of your dear sister."
Thank you, I guess.
The trials, they will consist of a number of different events that are played out with, and she gestures to the invokers around, different members of your family.
What?
Within, you must make decisions based on your understanding of our great mother. And then all of the invokers at the same time say, "The Scale Tyrant."
Yeah, she'd nod, yeah.
Are you ready, young Minerva?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be. I'm looking forward to it, I guess.
She nods, and she sort of snaps her fingers at the other invokers, and suddenly the entire room just falls into complete pitch black darkness and silence. For a moment, you think your senses have been completely cut out. You cannot hear anything around you. You cannot see anything around you. Before, slowly, in the room in front of you, where the centre of the inner sanctum, the circular platform, lies, you see light and sound begin to awaken. I'll take you over to Did I actually put music for this? For fuck's sake, I downloaded it and then I forgot to put it on the thing. Now the music won't play for me. Ah! Let's try again.
Roll 20, keep getting worse.
Every time they update it, it's just like a massive pain. Let us try once more. No, that's still not playing for me. Is it just that song? Let me try. Different one, maybe? No. Oh, apologies.
Alright. I'm hearing stuff though.
Yeah, I just want it for the recording more than anything.
Okay.
Let's try one more time. God, yeah, it's not popping up for me now.
Well, I can hear it again.
Yeah, I still can't hear it. Just keep trying it. See if it works. No. Ugh, so annoying. Let's try this one. Maybe this will work.
Yep, I can hear that.
Okay, as long as you can hear it, I've got an idea of how I can remedy the situation for the recording. I can go on YouTube. Let's go just dark ambient music. D&D. Hopefully this will be okay. Right, that should be fine for the recording, I think. So, as the light begins to fill the room, you no longer stand, as far as you were aware, within the inner sanctum as it was before, but you see a sight in front of you different, and a voice, the voice of the herald, echoes around the entirety of this chamber. It says, "Amass wealth, but spend little. The gold and the power that comes with it is sufficient reward in itself." As you look on, Minerva, you look down to your right and you see suddenly there's this another scion next to you, a gnome with a small little like crooked nose and bits of sort of tufts of sort of brownish and grey hair coming out from the top of his head, slight balding on the top. He wears quite sort of simplish robes, and he looks up at you and looking down, you do recognise him. You know his name to be Kelmorn Twistheart.
How well does she get on with Kelmore?
Let's do a charisma check and find out.
Okay. Great charisma.
It's straight charisma.
Not well.
Yeah, Kelmon looks up at you and just said, "Oh, why do I have to be stuck with you for this?"
Well, Kelmorn, you don't have to be. I mean, we can do it alone if you want to.
Do you think we could recover the hoard of a great dead dragon alone? That'd be so stupid.
Well, yes, true. But then I could not help you, and then we would both fail. So maybe you should be a little nicer to me.
Or maybe I could just take the whole thing for myself and leave you in the dust behind me.
I assume it doesn't look like the picture.
It looked exactly like the picture, but all much further away, I would say.
She just looks. She's like, some things only look small because they're far away, Kelmorn. That could be very big.
I don't need you. I don't need anyone. This hoard's mine for the taking. Out of my way.
Alright.
And he kind of like pushes you to the side and he just runs forward.
What a great start.
As he rushes in, Minerva, you see, as he gets closer and closer to this hoard of gold, the floor, you can see it now, begins to crack beneath his feet. And it cracks like a big long crack along the floor that heads all the way up to the gold, and then part of the floor kind of falls inwards. And you see the wealth of this huge dragon's hoard begins slowly falling into this great hole. And you hear Kelmon shout, "No! No!" And you just see him like dive into the wealth, and then he tries to like grab it, and he's trying to grab at the wealth, like trying to pour it in, like push it into his pockets and stuff. But you suddenly see that this wealth is so huge and so large, it's the movement of it has started to trap him from the legs down, and he's
Get out of...
he's slowly starting to fall. He's like, I can't get out! I can't get out! Help me! Help me! I will say, Minerva, you think if you were to rescue Kelmorn in this moment, the weight of pulling him out would likely force the rest of this hoard of treasure just fall into the pit below.
So he's kind of holding it up.
Pretty much, yeah.
God, I can't see anything that'd be helpful. She's gonna. Can she cast? Oh, it's a bad idea. Command on him.
Of course, yeah. What do you want to do?
Speak one word. She's gonna command him to flee. No, wait. Halt. He's gonna do halt.
Halt. Interesting. Doesn't take no actions. A flying creature stays alive. Okay. He's got to do a wisdom check. What is your DC?
30.
I think his wisdom's not great, so he does have a -1 to this roll.
30.
Which he does meet it. So he does. When you meet, it's a fail, right? Or is it a pass? I can never remember.
I think it's a pass.
So he passed.
No, wait.
I think you're right. I think it is a pass.
Yeah.
So he begins still holding, and he's like, "No, it's all mine. Just help me get out. I'll share some of it with you."
If I try and pull you out, you're gonna fall.
No, I won't fall. Pull me out.
Maybe I can. And she's gonna. Maybe if you do fall, I can find you. So, is he wearing anything?
Basic robes.
Let me cast this on you, and I might be able to find you if you fall.
No, you would dare take the treasure over my life? Save me!
Well, isn't that the point? Isn't that what we've been taught all these years?
No, please, I don't want to die.
But if I pull you out, then we'll lose all the treasure.
Please, no, I can't hold on much longer.
I'm gonna say, maybe it's just part of the test. Maybe you have to fall.
No, please.
Oh no! Oh God! I don't know. Can she pretend to help him, but actually not?
Absolutely. How are you going to pretend to help him?
She is gonna. She's gonna start tying her blanket into a knot around it so that she can throw it over him.
Okay.
But obviously it won't work very well.
He is so desperate he's not going to really be able to read the situation. I think he's going to try and sort of so you're tying it around him as if it's going to work, but as you begin to sort of pull him out, it comes loose and he begins to fall. And he's like, no! And just
She's gonna be like, remember the tenants, Kelmorn. Think of a dragon.
and you see him fall into this dark black pit below, and only a few coins and bits fall further with him, and you are left with the treasure hoard next to you. And as you do, the room complete into darkness and silence once more. And then the light and sound. Slowly, the light first slowly begins in the centre of the darkness, branching out gradually until the noise of a quiet tavern begins to fill the room.
Elmore better not be back. That's all I'm saying.
You now find yourself within a quiet pub within the mountains. Surrounding you are 3 people you all recognise. A human man named Lars Frostmane, a large bulky figure with his robes cut off at his shoulders, sitting and slowly sipping on a mug of ale. You see a half-elf woman named Delyn Proudmore, who has a rather sort of long, blonde, beautiful hair and piercing elven eyes and long ears that curl right backwards. And she sits just sipping on a light sherry further back towards the fire, not paying you mind. And finally you see a halfling man, small in stature but quite wide, named Vios Thumblesketch.
Is there anyone else in the tavern?
There isn't, no. There's no barmaids, there's no bartenders. Lars is the first to approach you. And he says, "Good eve."
Hey, Lars. How are you?
"I am well."
How goes the trial?
Just almost doesn't acknowledge what you said.
Oh, okay, I guess you're not real.
We haven't met before.
Yes.
But not where you think.
No? Where have I met you?
I drank with you before. In a different place to this. Long before.
Does
We
Minerva remember that?
You don't know. You don't at all remember this. We drank late into the night. I had many an ale and you had many more. And then even later, we went out into the streets and I ambushed you. With my allies, of course. And I took your gold. As you say that, as he says that, the half-elf woman kind of like switches her head round and says, "I know you too. I manipulated and plotted to steal away a lover from you, and I succeeded." And then finally the halfling Vios sort of stands up and he says, "And, well, I didn't mean to, but I accidentally killed a beloved member of your family while showing off and casting spells while I was far too drunk. What an idiot." The voice echoes around the room of the herald once more. "Do not forgive nor forget an indignity to yourself. Let no affront go unpunished. Judge these 3 who have wronged you. Weal or woe."
She would look at, is it Lars?
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna, like, pull out her mace and, like, poke him with it and say, "Whoa."
as you poke him and say whoa, it's like he's suddenly overtaken with like an immense amount of pain, and he just starts like invisible blows hitting him as he starts getting knocked down to the ground, as if like a group of people are just beating him to death in front of you.
Do her hands look like her hands?
They do, yeah.
Okay. I was just wondering if it was like a yeah, she might have been put in someone else's place. What was the woman's name?
Delin Proudmore.
She's gonna more forcefully prod her with the mace and say whoa.
And this time you see that as she does, she reaches out slightly and then to sort of hold back the mace, but then she sort of touches the end of it, and you see like a line across her throat just suddenly forms, and her eyes go wide as blood starts pouring down the front of it, and she just sort of falls limp on the floor. And the halfling looks up at you kind of scared, in his fear in his eyes, but he doesn't say anything.
She's gonna go over to him and say, how sure that it was an accident? How sure are you?
Didn't mean to. I was drunk and showing off. It was stupid. I never would do it again, I swear.
What? Why should I spare you? Tell me why. You obviously didn't do it on purpose, but if you had killed my family member, I would have good reason to kill you.
I don't know. I don't have any family or friends.
So no one would miss you if you were to die?
I suppose not.
Then a life for a life. And she pokes him gently and says, whoa.
And you see that he sort of almost like falls backwards limp, and you see like foam begin to sort of protrude from his mouth as he does. Lies on the floor. And the room is suddenly merged in darkness and silence once more. And the light, like a torch at the centre, begins to light the room once more. And the scene fills the darkness until you see another scene before you.
Oh my god. It's so creepy.
Why did the music not play? Right, let's just put the YouTube one back on.
I want to go stay there in an Airbnb.
Definitely. You hear the voice once more of the herald. This time, take what you covet. Those without the strength to defend their dominion are not worthy of it. And you see yourself, Minerva, almost like you're sitting behind your own eyes, creeping up on the hut of a huntswoman who lives on the outskirts of a village. You can see that she is maimed from her time in the wilderness hunting wolves, but is quite clearly tough. Within the building before you, a small babe rocks in its cot.
What?
You feel an essence behind you as well. You feel like this essence within you, Minerva, that in this moment you cannot bear children, but you crave one of your own. What will you do?
From where she is, can she see how maimed this woman is?
Do a perception check. You can clearly see that she's missing her arm up to like a stump that goes just beyond her elbow. you can't see any if she's maimed on any like her legs or anything below that.
Mm-hmm. And with this cottage, could she approach it and go in without the woman seeing her?
You'd probably have to be quite sneaky.
She really wants a baby, right?
That's the feeling you get in the pit of your stomach, yeah.
So she's being sneaky at the moment.
Yes, but you're at a distance where you can see through the window from the tree line. But you to get in and steal the baby itself would require a higher level of stealthiness, you think?
Is there anything that she can see that would infer that more than that woman lives in this shack?
Do an investigation check for me. You would know that there is, along the path further up, there is what looks like the wheels of in the dirt, the wheels of like markings of a cart, but you get the impression that the cart looks like it's gone back and forth away, and perhaps there is like a pile of wood and kind of boxes of like produce outside the door, and it looks as if perhaps there's perhaps you think this is like a cart from the local town maybe that comes back and forth somewhat regularly, but you don't get the impression it's as far as you can tell that there's someone else living here.
Okay, what she's going to try and do is approach the woman as closely as she can, but then when she reveals herself, she's going to try and make it be very fantastical, as in, you know, like religious, like she might be a religious figure that's emerged out of the woods, and it's like immaculate.
Ooh, very interesting. Let's do a stealth check first to see how stealthily you move up without getting noticed. Not very high DC because she is quite distracted.
If she's got her bag with her, can she put her vestments on instead of her armor?
Absolutely.
So it looks more like
Four. Unfortunately, as you step up, the twigs on the ground before you do give away your position away, and this woman looks up and sort of looks out the window and says, "Hello? Can I help you?"
She like stumbles and she's like, "Hello, I have come to take your offering to me."
Do a deception check for me.
She stumbles with her vestments. Okay. Why does she have advantage on it?
I don't know.
Oh no, it's just dragons, so she doesn't have advantage.
Okay. The woman kind of looks up at you, Minerva, and just sort of like has this kind of dour look and just says, "Well, whatever you're selling, I ain't buying, so get off my land."
Minerva scowls at her. When I said offering, I meant tribute. And she like unsheaves her mace. The great Tiamat demands that child.
Do an intimidation check with advantage for me.
Oh my god, I'm rolling like absolute dog shit.
You really are. And she gets to her feet and she's like, "You won't take her from me." And she like pulls out like whatever she can grab nearby, like a sort of hunting, like butcher's kind of knife. And
just for my context,
yes.
How does Tiamat feel about crippled people?
do a religion check for me.
Oh my god! What?
You are rolling spectacularly bad this evening. You're not 100% sure. You would know that Tiamat is certainly a god of greed, envy, hoarded wealth. You think perhaps, with your basic knowledge of that particular instance, that you've not experienced many situations with maimed people. So, I don't know, you interpret it as you think maybe with those.
She's going to be like, the great Tiamat does not have time for the weak and injured. That child will be better serving under us without you.
And she goes in a defensive posture, defending her babe, and just says, I will kill you! Get off these lands now!
She's going to pull out the mace, and she's going to cast Chromatic Confusion on it. And be like,
shit.
Heretics will burn!
So what do? Do you rush in and attack her?
Yeah, she's trying to club her in the head with the fire mace.
So you roll an attack roll for me as you rush into the hut.
I am playing her fully brainwashed, so...
No, that's totally fair.
Yeah.
15 definitely hits if you want to roll damage.
And then she's got the Chromatic Confusion. Oh my god!
It's not quite enough, so she will try and hit back at you. It's got a +2 to hit. Oh, she misses though with a 5. It's your go once more.
Okay. She is going to... no, she needs to save that for later. Yeah, she's just going to swing again then.
Definitely.
Why don't you just die?
And this time, as you scream that out, you bludgeon the side of her, knocking her to her knees, and then she kind of looks up at you with this last fear in her eyes as the chromatic infusion just burns out her eye sockets, and she just falls this heap of body on the floor before you.
Yeah, Minerva would like frantically search for a baby.
And the baby is within its cot, crying quite loudly at this point.
She'd pick it up and be like, no, it's okay. You'll come and live with me and my sister and everything will be fine and you'll learn to serve Tiamat like we did.
And as you grab the babe and sort of try and comfort it with these comforting words and make your way out of the hut, the scene once more is plunged into darkness. And this time, the light begins to form in the middle of a torch. And you look upwards and you are once more within the chamber of the inner sanctum. Yet this time, you can see beyond the platform on which the herald once stood and the invokers around her. And she stands on this elevated platform further away. And behind her, you see a great portal, like a tear in reality, like a wound within the very fabric of space itself. And from within this wound, you see these creatures begin to come out. This green, dark green draconic creature pours through the portal, almost like a child being given birth to, and it lets out this roar as it does. The herald sort of touches the head of it. Congratulations, Minerva, on getting as far as you have. And I must thank you personally for your time in service to the Dragon Queen. You followed our tenets to a T. And you see one of the evokers approaches you and hands you this vessel, and you can add the item dragon vessel to your inventory.
She's gonna be like, I thought you were gonna kill me. How you said it, I just didn't. Yeah.
As you hold the dragon vessel in your hands.
Slumbering? Or...
Yes, it would be slumbering, yeah. She would beckon forth and just say, we must all lay down our lives in service to the Dragon Queen, just as your sister did before you. And she gestures for you to lay upon a stone slab in front of her.
Okay. She's gonna go lie on the stone slab.
You see many invokers now, they all surround the slab, blocking any chance of your exit, and the herald unsheathes a dagger. And she looks down from above at you, locking eye to eye, and just says, and with two, we shall cut open the wounds in the world, and the great mother, the scale tyrant, will pour into the world of Exandria once more. And this last sacrifice, our great Minerva, you will lead us to paradise. And she lifts up the blade and she's about to go stab it down into you. How do you react, Minerva?
No, I kind of think Minerva's so brainwashed that she might just let him do it.
Yeah, and as the blade begins to come down, as you sort of go to sort of close your eyes and accept your fate, although you're laying down on a stone tablet, you feel the presence of Leona behind you, a hand upon your shoulder, and she whispers in your ear, little sister, not today. And suddenly, as the knife comes swinging down towards you, you feel yourself pulled into the rock itself, and you hear the clanging of a blade against the rock, and suddenly an uproar of, what has happened? As you feel your soul being pulled into the rock itself, falling in a dark space. If we were to look at a camera shot now of Minerva, we'd simply see her falling in darkness, reaching out above, looking up as the eyes of the caustic heart look down upon into the stone, confused. You grip the dragon vessel tightly, and suddenly you smash into the floor.
Kind of looks around and she's like, am I dead? What's going on?
You are swallowed by darkness. And as you hit the floor, the crash, and you look around thinking these thoughts to yourself, a small humming sound briefly sounds in front of you, and then the small comforting light of Leona's spell illuminates the immediate air around you. You appear to lie in the catacombs beneath your home. Only the privileged make the pilgrimage here. Executioners, heralds, prophets, all to the inky black pool where it's said that one can return to the surface above. Leona is standing beside you. And you don't know how you got here.
Yeah. So the last thing she remembers is falling, and then...
Yes, you remember a whisper in your ear saying, "Not today, dear sister." And then you remember falling, almost like you fell through the stone itself. But you could see, looking up at the stone, you could see these eyes and the knife coming down into the stone, but then clattering off of it, and the dagger being sent slamming off the floor. And then you see angry faces looking around, confused.
Leona, what did you do?
You can see she's breathing heavily. We must move before they realise what has happened.
But how did you do that?
It doesn't matter. These catacombs, they are awful. There is awful things down here. There are traps and something else. They will realise what has happened sooner. We must move, dear sister. Please.
You said you died. I don't understand.
Do an insight check once more. The DC is lower again. 22. Very good. As you look at your sister now, your eyes more examining her, she almost has this like radiant shimmer about her. And she kind of looks on at you, sister, and says, "It does not matter. We must move. We aren't safe."
Well, okay, but you have to tell me what happens when we get out of here.
She nods. "I promise."
I thought... Well, let's just go.
"Yes, quickly." And she goes to pull you from your fallen form, your prone form once more, as if she pulled you to your feet this morning. What's going through Minerva's mind at this point?
She's happy she's not dead, but then she's also disappointed that she didn't get to be the sacrifice that brought, them to paradise, and it's thwarted by her sister, who she's always thought was better than her. So she's a bit jealous because she also heard that Leona died, but also she's very glad Leona's alive and she's not dead.
Very mixed, confused emotions, I imagine.
Exactly. So at the moment, she's just following Leona's lead because she doesn't know what's going on.
Move you over to Snap and see if the music will actually play. It's still where I can play.
I'm going to quickly go get a drink while you sort that out.
Let's get a slightly different song for the recording. I'll find the exact one.
Mm. So roll 20. That's odd.
You back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, so the room you look around yourself in, it's a circular chamber about 30 feet across on either side. In one corner you can see that there seems to be a corridor that has a staircase immediately at the front of it that begins winding downwards. Otherwise, you can't see anything immediately in the room. Is there anything you'd like to do?
Do you know which way to go, Leona?
Down these stairs before us.
Well, let's get going.
She sort of takes your hand and starts guiding you down the stairs. As you get
While
go on.
While we're going down the stairs, she'd be like, oh, what's your plan from here? Where are we going?
It does not matter. We must get out. We must go to the pool.
Like in my dream?
She sort of nods, but it's kind of sad and hesitant. You don't need an insight check to tell.
Does she get the feeling that Leona isn't going with her?
Do another insight check for me. You can't tell. Leona's stony expression is good at hiding these kinds of things.
She'll let herself be led then.
As you get about halfway down, you begin to hear this loud kind of cling, cling, cling sound like metal on stone, followed by what sounds like the grunting of some kind of prehistoric person. The sound seems to be moving further away and then moves completely out of earshot. How does Minerva react?
Minerva looks at Leona. She's like, Leona, is this just another part of a trial and you're trying to trick me?
No, this is not the trial. We must get out of here.
But this is scarier than anything in the trial.
I know.
Even that mother I bludgeoned to death. And she looks down in dismay.
The cult isn't... She kind of goes to say something and then stops herself, and then it's just there's no time for this now. We just have to get out.
Well, let's try and be sneaky at least.
Yes, let's. Can you roll a stealth check for Minerva, and then I will roll one for Leona as well.
Is it that time? Is Minerva going to be my shit character?
Based on these rolls, almost certainly.
I don't think I've ever rolled this badly.
No, it's kind of shocking to be honest. Why didn't that roll to D&D Beyond to Grow 20? Let me try again. Normal roll. Ugh, there's so many problems with the internet today. I'm just going to roll a flat d20 because that's what it is. Well, even worse for Leona. As you reach the bottom of this winding staircase, you see there's a creaking wooden door that sort of looks like it's been sort of haphazardly sort of propped up against the end of this corridor. So this sort of natural staircase. Looking beyond, that you can do a quick perception check for me just to see. You can hear that the clanging noise is quite far. It seems to have moved off in like a easterly direction. But it's and then sort of heads more north, and then it sounds like it's coming back round, but it might take a while.
We should get going.
We should. Before you, Minerva, you see there is what looks like there's a left corridor, a central corridor, and a right corridor.
In Tiamat's head.
Mm-hmm.
It's got multiple heads.
It does have multiple heads.
What colour is the one on the right?
God, I don't even know. Let's have a look.
Let's have a look. So I feel like she'd pick whatever her favourite head is, which is fire. So fire seems to be on the
like
left.
Oh, I don't know.
Of the body.
Fire looks like central to me, but
Oh, I'm looking at a different picture.
yeah.
Does she prefer blue or...
Oh, here we go.
She prefers black.
I found a good picture here that I think represents the differences quite well.
Yeah, if you pick one, then
If I put
we
it
can go with that.
fucking internet tonight, what is going on? Well, it won't let me copy and paste it for some fucking bizarre reason. Let me try and open it and then do it. Copy image, paste. It's not working. Why is it not working? I'll do it in Messenger rather than Discord. Griffiths, paste. There we go. So I think red is in the middle, I'd say. I think white is on the on her left technically, and then yellow is on...
She wouldn't
green
like
is on the right.
She'd go to the right then.
Okay. So you begin heading downwards, and with your perception check as well, you get the impression this is the path that whatever this creature is must have taken. So you think heading east and or right is probably a good idea to kind of stay behind this creature. Can you make another perception check for me, please?
Well,
you begin heading forward, and then suddenly you step and on the floor, and you feel like it's kind of like a metally substance on the floor, where once before it was like this more compact dirt, and your foot begins to give way. Can you do a dexterity saving throw for me, please?
ooh.
19. So you do manage to avoid falling in this trap. So you look down and you see there is a pit trap below. With the failure of the perception check, though, as you've stepped on this thing, suddenly you hear this kind of sound as you look down, and you see there's like this wire you've knocked, and this like little noise trap is starting to this rattling around, and you see this like caged pit below you that as you sort of move out the way, the lid of the door of this cage like slams down on top of it, and this thing is like rattling away. Suddenly you hear the clanging and the heading in your direction. I will say you've got 2 rounds to prepare yourself before this creature arrives. What are you going to do?
I guess running away would be a bit futile, right? Because it's going to chase us.
It would most certainly hear you.
Okay. So she is going to... God, what's she got? We ain't got much, really. Svig. So wherever the trap is, she'll say to Leona that they should both stand directly behind the trap. So if it's dumb, it might just walk over the trap.
I would say you'd have to reset the trap because it's slammed closed. The cage was imagine the cage was like concealed slightly beneath a small layer of dirt, and as you've stepped on it, it would have, if you'd failed the dexterity check, it would have like launched you upwards and forwards, and you would have gone flying back down into this pit below. But because you dodged backwards out the way, it just slammed forwards, and then you could look down and see this caged pit below.
Is the pit still there though?
Yes, it is, but it's got a caged roof on top of it that you could try and pull off if you wanted to.
Yeah. She'd be like, Leona, help me with this. We could maybe push it into the trap.
Okay. Do an athletics check with advantage for me.
My God.
Oh my fucking God, you're rolling so unbelievably bad tonight. You're trying to lift it. That is one action for this turn. You've got one more round to prepare yourself. It's not working so far.
Well, I can't think of anything else to do. Let's try again.
Okay, another athletics check with advantage. 18. You do manage to lift it up and slam it back down on the other side. This thing. Are you going to try and... You're still on the same side, though, that you can hear it running round behind you, and it's going to come... You're on the side of the trap where it would be triggered. You could try and run across and jump across, which you would have enough movement to do.
Yeah, she'd do that then.
Okay, so both you and Leona run forward, jumping across. What's your strength score, actually, first, just to make sure?
10.
Okay, you would have enough then. Both you and Leona would. So you do manage to jump across and make it to the other side. And as you do, you look back and you see this naked female humanoid figure walking around the corner with what looks like a metal kind of pan or pot that's slamming. Do a quick perception check for me.
Oh God, it's the pan lady.
As you look round, with a 21, you see that this creature bears a striking similarity. I can't talk very well today. Similarity to both you and Leona, except that where your burns across your face are split, the burns across this face cover the entire face of this creature. And as it looks around the corner, it kind of stops for a moment and then sort of stares forward. And you just hear it says, "You look just like me!" Begins stumbling forwards. I'm going to make a dexterity saving throw for it. Which it just passes as the trap... And then it manages to step back and it sort of looks back up at you again as the trap closes once more. Let's roll initiative.
Oh, hell.
25, I'll roll for Leona. If it's not rolling on my end really annoyingly for some reason. I'll just roll a standard roll. 2 for Leona, good. Let's add these on manually.
Well, at least I've got 25. I mean, that's a thing.
And then let's add...
Natalie, you made this really fucking crucial.
That was my intention.
Just that bit of the house, I was like, I want the baby.
Where is it? Oh, for fuck's sake. To log in again. Oh, my tooth pain has come back with a fucking vengeance.
Odd.
Oh, persevere.
We can always stop if it gets too painful. I don't want you to force yourself through. I know how bad tooth pain can be.
Yeah, I think I might have to stop there, and I think it's probably the best place to stop. I think probably the next half of the session will be about another hour and a half as well, so that kind of works out as half and half, I think, quite nicely. I feel
Yeah, it
bad.
works out well.
I feel really bad that I couldn't finish the session, but yeah,
It's alright. Like, tooth pain's horrible.
it's literally the fucking
God.
worst.
And you got another few days of it as well.
Yep.
Also, I was going to quickly ask, because
Yes.
I'm in Warwick on Thursday.
Mm.
Is there any chance of doing Wednesday instead?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine with me.
Okay, I'll post it in the chat as well then.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. Thank you so much, Natalie. That was
That's-
really good.
Thank you. I'm glad. I hope you enjoy the rest of it when we get to it, and we will get to it. I'm sorry it just stops soon, but I just I'm
Fucking die. It's my code.
I thought you'd appreciate that.
Like the immediate enemies, like. Ugh.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Well, I'm really glad you enjoyed it, and like I said, we'll get to the second part soon.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Bye bye.